This video tutorial will show you how to make layered composite photo that includes the tops and bottoms of two different birds, and also a layer for the line that separates the top from the bottom. Note, the composite task requires a layered document of 3 birds, so you will have to apply these instructions for a third bird as well. Birds will be referred to as bird A, bird B, and bird C. This video assumes that you have already removed the background from the stimuli and are working with photos of birds on a white background. Each set of bird triplets will have a set number, example set 1. We will refer to the set number as X. When we refer to X, simply replace X with the set number you are working with. Your photos with backgrounds removed should already be named XA, XB, and XC. The line photo is also provided for you. The 2 birds we will be working with in the instructional video are the coral-billed babbler and the streak-breasted babbler, which will be noted as XA and XB. First, you're going to open your images, so File, Open, and you're going to open all 3 of your images, your A, B, and C. So this is loading. I'm only going to be opening 2 since I'm just going to show you with 2 birds, but you would open all 3 of your birds. So it's going to be helpful to start with images that are the same size. So we're going to be using photos that are the size of 6 by 6 inches with a resolution of 200 pixels per square inch. So to resize your image, we're going to use the Cut tool, which is located here. And now you can set the width and the pixels, so size and resolution. And you can do 6 by 6 by 200 pixels per square inch. Press OK. And now there's this box around my bird. And if you want to alter the box, all you have to do would be hold down the Alt key and then drag this. But right now this is the appropriate size that we want. You could also move the bird around inside the box so that you have the same amount of white on each side by using your arrow keys. So for now, we like this, so double click. And now it's cropped. And then you're going to do the same thing for your second bird. And now the box is already there. So you could change that, or you could just let it go. So double click, but what you want to have is your 3 birds with the same amount of white showing after you cut all of them. So all of your birds should be facing towards the right of the screen, like this bird, but if your bird is facing to the left, you need to flip that image. So you can select the white and then select inverse so that your bird is selected, and then you would do Edit, Transform, and then Flip Horizontal. And that would flip your bird. But for our purposes, we don't need that. So you can go back to your history at any time. So what we want to do is now copy our images of the bird into a composite image. So in this step, we will copy each bird into a file containing a black line on a transparent background. This will create a document with 4 layers, 1 layer for each bird, plus a layer with the line. So to start, you're going to open your line image, which will be given to you. So open, line, and now you're going to once again use the magic wand tool, and it should have a tolerance of 20, and you want it to be contiguous so that you can select the background and then do select inverse, and now Control C, which will copy your bird, and now you can paste your bird onto the page. So now you're seeing 2 layers. So you're going to put your line layer, which is layer 1, at the top by dragging it, and now you have layer 2. So we're going to call this layer XA. This would be, say, set 1, bird A. Now you're going to repeat these steps for bird B and bird C and name them with the appropriate name. So same thing, I'm going to select, select inverse, copy, and then paste. And now I'm going to click onto this layer. Now I want this to be below because it's layer 2. And I'm going to rename it by double clicking, and that's going to be XB. And then you would do this one more time for your XC bird. So now I want to save this as File, Save As, Set, X, Composite, and PSD. Note that our bird pictures were always in PSD. You want to use PSD as your saving by the format being Photoshop. Sometimes they come in as JPEGs. You want this all to be in Photoshop. So save. So now this new layer is called Set X Composite. So this document has 3 layers. Yours will have 4 layers once you do your C. You can make each layer invisible by clicking on this little eyeball. So now if you unclick it, the eyeball's gone and the bird is gone. It will also show you which layer is active at the moment. So right now I'm on XB. So if I want to move something around, I can only move XB around because it's the active layer. Now any changes you make on the document when you have this selected will only occur to this bird. So you can only alter one layer at a time. So before you start, make sure you have all of your eyes on so you have all your layers visible. Now the layers are stacked in the image, and you can change the layer's position at any time by dragging them. So see, maybe put this down here. Oh no, the line's behind. But you want the line to be on top, and then put your birds in order. So you have layer of line, followed by A, followed by B, followed by C. So now you want to do brightness matching for your birds, because we are going to be cutting the birds at the neckline to create composites. So it would be helpful if the birds have the equivalent brightness at the necklines so that they blend. So stack the birds on top of each other so that you can see their colors next to each other. And choose the bird out of all your 3 birds that has the middle value of brightness as your reference layer. In our case, we're going to use XB, which is this one, as our reference color. Because this one's lighter, we're going to make it a little darker. So go to the main menu after XB is highlighted. Now you're going to click Image, Adjustments, Brightness, Contrast. So now you can play around by sliding the brightness and lighten and darken the layer to adjust it to XA. So now I'm going to darken it so that they match better. You can also play with the contrast to see if that helps blend them a little bit better. So you don't want any radical changes, and you also have to remember that there is going to be a thick black line separating the composite, so they do not have to match perfectly. But say right now, I think it's better around here. So okay. You're going to do the same thing for your 3rd remaining bird. Now, we need to adjust our layer orientations. So to make composites, we'll first orientate all the birds with their heads facing up so that the black line will cross evenly at the neck just above the wing. So, select layer XA. Right now I'm going to hide XB. So I have XA. So I'm going to click on Edit, Transform, and then Rotate. So move your mouse to one of the corners so that you see this double curved arrowhead. Now click and move the mouse until the head is facing up and the back is somewhat straight up and down. So moving him, and that looks back straight up. Okay, and then you're going to click OK. So now you're going to activate the mouse tool. And you can see with window or view, you can do rulers. So right now they're on, but you're going to put your rulers on. So this shows you have rulers where you can see where your mouse is. So you want to move your bird until the line is bisecting at the shoulder. Say about here. So now to help move your bird horizontally, make sure you have this ruler at the top and say we're going to do 4 inches. So you want your bird to have his head around the 4-inch line. So it should be around centered. So this bird is pretty centered at its head at the 4-inch line. As you can see up here, the closer you get to 4 inches, this little dotted line goes over it. So if you go to the center of his head, it should go over the 4-inch line. So now you're going to repeat these steps for B and C. So make your bird visible, edit, you need to click on the layer, edit, transform, rotate. You need to rotate your bird so that the back is pretty much straight up and down and the head is up. Now you're going to want to move your bird so that the shoulder right above the wing is where the line is. And then you want the center of the head, which should say is right here, to match up with this 4-inch line. At any point too, if you want to do slight adjustments, you can use the arrow keys on the keyboard, up and down, side and side, to move your bird around on the screen. Okay. Now, at this point, you may need to make small adjustments in the bird sizes to make sure that the neck is the same width for all birds, because some of these pictures are not actually the same size. So, we're going to use bird B as our reference, and we're going to adjust bird A to fit the same size as bird B. So hide the line layer, and now you can have your 2 birds on top of each other by having them both visible. And in the layers window, you can select the layer you plan to adjust, so XA, and you can put it on top of it and change the opacity so you can kind of see through the bird. So say about 50%, so you can see where you're lining it up to the bird below it. So from the main menu, you can click Edit, Transform, Scale. Now a box will appear around the bird, and you can move your mouse to the corner of the box and hold the Shift key. Move the corner out to change the size of the bird while holding the Shift key down. Now, you may need to adjust the relocation of the image as you resize because you're dragging the image. So once you're satisfied with the location and the size, you can double click. And also at any point you can change the opacity and see what it looks like. See, it looks a little too small still, so I'm going to keep going. And you can use your arrows to adjust. Look to see what it looks like. Maybe try a little bit this way. A little bit maybe more. And I think that looks pretty good. So double click. And there's your bird, so you can, if you want to just move it up and down, you can still too. I think that's pretty good for now. And just make sure that you change the opacity back to 100 when you're finished. So now, you would repeat the step for the third bird so that they are all the same size and have the same width necks. At this point, we now have a layer for each bird, and the birds are orientated and overlapping at the line. That will define the composite boundaries. We now have to make separate layers for the top and bottom of each bird. To do this, we will have to duplicate each bird layer, rename the layers, and then delete the appropriate half of the bird from each layer. We will start with bird A. So now you're going to hide all layers except for the line, which is layer 1, bird A. So hide XB, and you would hide your XC and leave these two. So in the layers window, you can right click on A and press duplicate layer. Now I'm going to make this XA bottom. And then I'm going to change this one to XA top. And then for my purposes, I want to have top above the bottom, so I'm going to just drag it and drop it. So with XA top highlighted, you're going to hide XA bottom layer so that you only have your XA top showing. From the Tools menu on the left, you're going to get the rectangular marquee tool, which is this tool. Make sure that the tool options do not have any specific width, heights, or anything. The style is normal and there's nothing weird about it. So this is going to be the top, so you're going to want to remove the bottom layer. So remove the bottom layer by clicking and dragging your mouse to select the box that goes from the middle of the black line to the bottom of the picture. So from the middle of the black line and to the bottom of the picture. And now just press delete. And now you have no bottom. So now select, deselect, and now you can hide your top layer and turn on your bottom layer and then click on it so that you have that layer selected. Now what you're going to do now is take the same key and you're going to go from the middle of the black line and box the top. And if at any point you want to make the line go up or down, you can just use your arrows and make it go up or make it go down. And when you're satisfied, press delete. And then deselect. And now there's your bottom layer. So now we're going to do the same thing for B. So we're going to duplicate the layer. Let's say we're going to name this one XB bottom. So now then we're going to change this one to XB top. So I'm going to hide XB bottom, and now I'm just going to do the same thing from the middle of the black line and down, and say I want to make this go up a little bit more. That's fine. Now delete, deselect, and there's your top. Hide that layer, and now add in your bottom layer, and then make sure you have it clicked on so it's active. So now from the middle of the black line to the top, and now I want to pull this down a little bit so it's in the middle, and now delete, select, deselect, and now you have your bottom. So you're going to do this one more time for your third bird. So you're going to have a document that's going to have 7 different layers: XA top, XA bottom, XB top, XB bottom, XC top, XC bottom, and then the line. To make aligned composites, we will duplicate the image and reveal only the line and the appropriate top and bottom for that composite, flatten that image, and then rotate the image back to face right, and then save that duplicate. We are going to only create an XA top and an XB bottom in this instructional video. The most important thing to do is never work from your layered composite. Always be sure to duplicate the image of your composite before you flatten the layers. So to create an XA top and an XB bottom, go to your layers window and hide all the layers except for your XA top, the line, and your XB bottom. Now duplicate this image by going to the window and then going to Image, Duplicate. And now you're going to make this XA top, XB bottom. Okay. So now you have a duplicated version of your XA top and your XB bottom. Now we're going to flatten this image by going to Layer and then down to Flatten Image. You're going to discard the hidden layers, and now you have your white background. To rotate the image back to face right, you're going to go to the main menu and click on Image, Image Rotation, Arbitrary, and do 45 degrees clockwise. Now we want to reduce the image size by going to the main menu, clicking on Image, Image Size, and now we're going to change the selection to width of 6 by 6 inches and a resolution of 72 pixels per inch, and then press OK. Before saving the file, make sure you have created a folder within your group number, the region name, the set number. So, for example, say I'm going to save this as that, but I'm going to make a new folder. And the folder would be Group 1, China, Set 1. So I'm going to create this folder, and I'm going to save the image into that folder. Now, also, when you save it, I'm going to save it, and I can save it as a JPEG. So check the name. Let's write name, JPEG, Group 1, and click Save. And OK. So now you have it saved as a JPEG. So you're going to repeat each of these steps, starting with your composite PSD, but be sure to make duplicate files so you never have to start over your layered composite photo. So you will need to make the following layered copies of composite photos. So you're going to have XA top, XB bottom, XA top, XC bottom, XB top, XA bottom, XB top, XC bottom, XC top, XA bottom, XC top, XB bottom. Now we're going to make a misaligned composite. So for each aligned composite, you're going to do your step 8 above, and now you're also going to have to make misaligned for each aligned. So we are going to use the layered composites that you had done in step 7. So you would open your 7 layered composite file that has your 7 once you do your C's. But first do your lined and then go back and do your misaligned. So make sure you have the ruler showing up at the top. So view, you would click on ruler. And you want to also make sure you have the vertical guide, which is right here. So now make all your layers invisible except for XA top and XAB bottom, which I've done already. And now you want to use your move tool, which is this tool, and you're going to use this tool to move the tops and bottoms of the bird to make the misaligned composite. So let's start with the top. You're going to have your top layer highlighted, and you're going to use your mouse and find 4, this is 4 in the center, now 4 1/4. So see how the dashed line is at 4 1/4. Now you're going to click on the top head of the bird and now drag it left so that this little dashed line moves to 4 inches exactly. And now let it go. If at all it moves up or down or anything, you can use your little arrow keys to fix that. Now you're going to use the bottom layer. Now click on B bottom so that's highlighted. And you want your cursor to be at the back of the bird, and you want that to be around 3 3/4, which is right here. And now you're going to move this right to 4. Now just, there you go. And once again, if it moved up or moved down, you can now, with it selected, use the little keys to change it a little bit. Now, you're going to repeat this step for all 3 of the birds. And then you're going to duplicate this layer again. So, image, duplicate, and now we're going to rename this Miss XA top, XB bottom. Okay, and now you have your new document of XA top, XB bottom. So now we can go to layer, flatten image, discard the hidden layers, and now you have your image on a white background. So now once again we need to rotate. So we're going to add image rotation, arbitrary, 45, and now we have it rotated at 45. So now, once again, we're just going to reduce the image size by going to Image, Image Size, and we're going to do 6 by 6 by 72. Press OK, and there's our new image. So we're going to do File, Save As, and you're going to save this in your Group 1. And then you can just save it as a JPEG and misaligned XA top, XB bottom, save as JPEG, and save. So then you're going to repeat these actions to do misaligned for all your composite photos. So you have Miss XA top, XB bottom, Miss XA top, XC bottom, Miss XB top, Miss XA bottom, Miss XB top, XC bottom, Miss XC top, XA bottom, Miss XC top, XB bottom. And then you'll be done. So good luck.